Hey people, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode. Man, some crazy shit happened this week. I was leaving East Commonlands, done level 12 and stuff. Decided I wanted to go to Cabalus to bank and train. And as I passed through the Oasis, I realized, why not just stay here and, get a group, grind some crocodiles. I was only 12, but I didn't realize that some of the crocodiles were so low, like the caimans and stuff. You can solo at level 12. So that was I decided to stay there, and then I found an Orc Highway group. Then once that group kind of fell apart, and I was just chilling there on my own, that's when some of the crazy shit started happening. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I was just chilling at the docks in Oasis. Thought I'd try my hand at a few crocodiles while I waited for the raft. And then the next thing I know, this guy hit me up over chat, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to come DPS for our Orc Highway group?" And I was like, "Sure, why the hell not?" I didn't realize that I could do it at level 12, but got nothing better to do. That beats running back to Cabalus. Cabalus sucks. No one's in Cabalus, so yeah, I ran over here, and they're chilling on the back wall. This is the Orc Highway, and we just started killing mobs. I didn't realize there were so many people. There's like 31 people or something in the Oasis, and it gets pretty popular during peak times. And there is actually, funnily enough, another level 12 XR monk in the group, and it looks like he has the exact same gear as me. He has two of the same weapons and the same armor. So it's quite funny. We're like doppelgangers. So pretty decent XP, to be honest. I mean, killing the crocodiles and stuff solo is faster, but the downtime sucks because, I mean, if I had chamois buffs with the regen and that, it would be way better, but the group is still really decent XP, and it's safe. So I haven't even been here that long, and I've almost gotten a whole yellow. It's actually a GM event going on right now. They're giving out Geysers of the Deceiver, which is a very fucking cool item, which I really wish I was in the area enough, close enough to get it, or I don't even know what level they're doing the mobs. But basically, Sirkin here is, you can see this writing here, he says, the city of Neriak is reporting that one of their prized guys of the Deceivers has gone missing from the city. The guards believe that the thief has escaped the city, but do not believe he could have made it too far. Good luck. And he just gave one away about 10 minutes ago, saying that some fairies had found it, and then there was a chamois who found what that meant. Basically, he went, and in Lesser Fadark, he killed some fairies, and I assume they dropped the guys because shortly after, Sirkin broadcasted that, congrats to such and such for finding the fairy, and now has the guys. So I'm not quite sure what level it would be, because that guy was anonymous. I mean, I looked up his name, but man, I just wish I was in Nectalis right now. Try and get me one of those masks. That would be awesome, but unfortunately I'm not, so what can you do? Not even 10 minutes later. There we go. That's all for tonight, folks. Thanks for coming out. Hope you had fun. Congrats, Sebeka and Sven. They both got Guys of the Deceivers from that event. I tried to look up both their names, and they're both anonymous, so I have no idea what level they were, but good on them for winning one very cool item each. I am jelly. So if you ever wondered why they call this the Orc Highway, it's because orcs just go nuts walking back and forth across this area, amongst other mobs, but mainly orcs. See, there's a whole bunch. So, highway group fell apart very suddenly. We got this chamois here to come in and replace someone who was leaving, and then all of a sudden, the necro went link dead. The monk, one of the other monks, took off just all of a sudden, and then and we kind of, this Jackaroos here died, tanking a mob, we kind of just managed to scrape through and survive after that. And then shortly after, we kind of were regathering, the cleric had to leave. So now it's just the three of us, 3 lizards, this new chamois, and me and Juck here. So we're killing crocodiles. And these actually, I could have sworn, like, as I came through here, that they were not aggressive, but they con ready to attack. And so I was like dodging them, you know, all panicky and stuff, and I thought, you know, they'd be helping each other when you killed them. But yeah, it turns out they con wrong. They don't actually help each other, and they don't aggro either, like on site. They're not scouts, they're just indifferently. So yeah, it's actually quite safe to just farm away crocodiles here, which I probably will end up doing for the next couple of levels, I suppose. I was going to go back to Cabalus and try Kerns, but we'll see how we go. I want to maybe get another level or 2 before I make the big trip back. So yeah, this is it's pretty much the Oasis. I used to grind here on all my characters at about 15. I'm only 12. I didn't realize you could come here this low. But if you just stick to caimans, I think there's 3 different types of crocodiles. There's caimans, there's crocodiles, then there's deep water caimans, and then there's deep water crocodiles, and they all increase in level in the order that I just listed them. So, but yeah, for now, killing caimans is good because they're pretty much between 11 and 13, I think. So yeah. I do love this zone. It's very fun. You do have to watch out. There's sand giants and stuff can wander around. Especially this one called Kazel. He's a named sand giant and he can wander up the beach here. There's a named crocodile called Lockjaw. He wanders around. I'm pretty sure he's hostile. And he's like level 25. Then there's spectres over where I'm facing now. There's like a kind of little lake with an island in the middle of it, and that's got a bunch of spectres in it, and they're like all level in their 40s. So if there's a high level killing them, you can kind of see it just there. Yeah, it just came into vision, that little tower over there with the white symbol on it. If there's a high level over there farming spectres and they get kind of overrun, they can train spectres to the zone, and you can aggro them, and that can be dangerous. And speaking of Lockjaw, there he is right there. What else? Dry bone skeletons are another big thing. They kind of wander through. They're not too high, but they are a pain in the ass. They're very difficult to kill for their level, and they do a lot of damage. And they're highly aggressive. If you've ever leveled here in Oasis in the part, like before when you played on live or whatever, you will definitely know the wrath of the dry bone skeleton. But other than that, this is just such a great place to level because there's a huge quantity of crocodiles that, you know, kind of wander through. There's the orc highway groups you can get. There's fairly safe along the coast. And yeah, just one of my favourite leveling zones. So we had a pretty high level monk come through, and he took out Lockjaw for us, and then he very kindly also pulled this sand giant, and because he's a monk, he can do all the damage, and then he can feign death, and then when it's really low and running, and then when we kill it, we'll get all the XP because he's feigned death. So yeah, with that sand giant, I just dinged to 13. So I logged in the next day, in the evening for me, which is usually when the server's the most quiet. So I was trying to solo away, you know, and when you're soloing, especially when the mobs are pretty much the same level as you, the downtime is pretty big. So I'm kind of just sitting there chilling, doing nothing, regenerating health, and this guy sends me a tell, and he's like, "Oh, where are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm at Pillar 1." And he's like, "Oh, I've got like 8 orcs that I've Tashanded," and Tashan is a spell that enchanters cast, and he'd done it so much that it was pretty much going to be impossible for anyone to pull the aggro off him. And so he ran these orcs down to me, and he's like, "Yeah, just kill him." And so yeah, that's he kind of did this for a while, and I was just whacking away at him while he just sat there and soaked up all the damage, and yeah, he helped me out for a couple of levels actually, so that was really awesome of him. And it wasn't just orcs and crocs and snakes and stuff either. He also pulled a sand giant, and apparently enchanters can do a memory blow or something, something along the lines of that when after the mob's running. And then, so once he'd done the memory blow, I just did the last 2% of the damage, and I got all the XP. And soloing, you know, a level 40 sand giant at level 13, you can imagine I got a fair chunk of experience. So, again, really fucking cool for this dude to just, you know, pretty much power level me. We'd never met before, and he just kind of came up and yeah, just started helping me out. So that's one thing I really love about the Project 99 community, is people are just really friendly, and that's what I miss the most about classic EverQuest is the player interaction. So I logged in a couple of days later, and I was messing around in Freeport trying to find a way to train at the Human Monk Guild. I'd found a bard, and I was like, I got him to invis me in, thinking that they'd only be dubious towards me because I'd killed a whole bunch of orcs and had started getting some faction with them at least, but turns out we got in there and they were still kill on sight, so that didn't work. And as I was exiting, this guy I'd met a couple of days earlier was like, oh, what are you up to? And I was like, oh, you know, just try and train stuff in Freeport. So he was like, come to the Common Lands tunnel. And so I was like, alright, you know, I'm not doing anything, so I headed over. And he's like, oh yeah, I got some gear you can use to help level. And then he proceeded to give me a fungi tunic, flowing black silk sash, adamantite club, stave of shielding, pretty much like 200,000 platinum worth of gear. Obviously it's not for keeps, it's just on loan just to help me level and stuff. So yeah, that's really, really, really crazy. I couldn't believe it. Awesome. So yeah, now I'm going to Oasis to just wreak absolute havoc. So I should probably explain the difference between twinking a character in EverQuest as opposed to, say, a more recent modern day MMO. EverQuest, there's no, at least in the Ruins of Kunark, there are no level requirements on items. So as long as they are tradable, so they're not no drop, you can trade them and a level 1 can use them. And so that's what makes the items I got so ridiculously powerful. Because at level 15, the fungus covered scale tunic, for example, gives you plus 15 hit point regen. So it's like having a chamois regen on you constantly. And the two weapons, they would probably be considered to be very good weapons for an endgame character, and I'm using them at level 15. Here you can see me, I'm killing a deep water crocodile. This thing is level 20, and I just killed it at level 15, and look at my health. I have 90% health left. Granted, I still do have chamois buffs, which also just compound the whole situation, but yeah, that's what makes twinking in this game so spectacular, is that early on, you're kind of using level 60 gear. At level 15, you're just an absolute beast. Now you can see me just kind of grinding away in Oasis. The combination of the regen from the fungi tunic and the high damage from the weapons and the other items that I got means I can pretty much non-stop grind away, no downtime. And in classic EverQuest, that's just insane. That's so good. The only real kind of restrictions that I have, the weapons, I am capped with the damage that I can output with them until level 20. So before level 20 I can't do anything higher than, I think, 28 damage it was, but once you hit level 20 that cap gets removed and you start being able to utilize the full damage potential of the weapon. So past 20 it just becomes even better. So there it is, guys. That was the Oasis for me. I pretty much, from 15 all the way up to 21, I stayed here and just killed crocodiles along the shoreline. The deep water crocodiles don't even become blue until level 20, I think, so you could even stay here longer if you really wanted to. So, after all that leveling, I really needed to find a way to train, because I hadn't been to Cabalist since level 8. I had a whole bunch of new abilities waiting for me. And I was wandering around Freeport because I knew there was a way you could do it, and I ran into Nissa again. That's the druid that helped me get all the armor in the East Commonlands episode. And yeah, he threw wolf form on me, and what wolf form does is it changes the way NPCs consider you. So with that, I was able to run into the Monk Guild and train, and I had a whole bunch of new abilities waiting for me, like Tiger Claw, Block, Double Attack, Feign Death, Intimidation, and Eagle Strike. So fair few abilities for me to go and skill up, but with all of these now, I'm going to be even more of a powerhouse, and it's just going to be that much more fun to play from now on, especially with Feign Death. That's the ability that defines a monk and lets you do all the crazy monkey stuff that monks are known for doing. So that pretty much does it for this week, guys. It was a pretty crazy adventure. If you liked it, subscribe. I usually try and release one of these once a week. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.